From economics to politics, one man has garnered headlines. Indian billionaire Gautam Adani, now one of the world's richest man with a net worth of about $69 billion, has been charged in the United States. But what has he been charged of and why has he been accused? Well, hello, you're watching India Today Global with me, Ishita Mitra, and today we'll take a look at what the Adani fiasco is all about. The chairman of the Adani Group has been charged by US prosecutors for his alleged involvement in fraud and bribery scheme. Now, these charges stem from accusations that he and his several associates paid over $265 million in bribes. And this amount was allegedly paid to Indian government officials to secure lucrative contracts. And of course, they basically hid several payments from US investors. So if we go deeper into the details, now this money was paid to Indian officials in a period between 2020 and 2024. And this was to obtain contracts for solar energy projects which were worth over $2 billion. And they were expected to pay profits in a period of about 20 years later. Now, additionally, the US Department of Justice has also charged Adani with securities fraud and a conspiracy to commit wire fraud. And the indictment, which has been filed in New York, claims that Adani and his several co-defendants misled investors by lying to them and several other banks. And this was to raise billions of dollars for their investment in green energy projects. Now, Adani himself has been charged for violations of the Foreign Corrupt Practices Act. And this is not it. The US Securities and Exchange Commission, which is basically the American counterpart for the Securities and Exchange Board of India, or SEBI, has also filed civil charges against Adani. Now, the charges allege that Adani violated anti-fraud provisions of federal securities laws by making several false statements. But it gets serious now. Arrest warrants have also been issued for Gautam and Sagar Adani, which is basically his nephew, as a part of this case. And now there's several other people who've been charged in the case. Alongside Gautam Adani, other defendants include his nephew Sagar Adani, which I just mentioned. Other than that, there's several executives from Adani Green Energy and Cyril Cabans from Azure Power Limited, along with Adani. Now the question is, how did they carry out this case, if actually they did? Now, prosecutors allege that Adani and his associates used several code names like Numero Uno and the Big Man, and this was during their discussions about the bribery scheme. They reportedly held several meetings on how to execute these practices while maintaining a facade of legitimacy to attract investments. And this indictment also indicates that they raised over $3 billion in loans and bonds, and this was by misleading lenders about their operations. Now, interestingly, the charges that were announced, they came shortly after Adani Group raised over $600 million through a bond sale. And this bond sale was aimed at financing green energy projects. So you see, the timing has certainly raised questions about the implications of these allegations for his business operations. And if you see, the indictment has already started producing consequences. Shares of Adani Energy Solutions have been affected. They have crashed by about 20%. Adani Green shares were down by around 18%, while Adani Total Gas and Adani Power fell by about 13 to 14%. And additionally, shares of Adani Enterprises, Ambuja Cements, ACC and Adani Ports, all of them were affected negatively. Even NDTV shares were down by 11% and Adani Wilmar fell by about 8%. Now you see, these are the biggest falls the group has witnessed since the release of last year's Hindenburg Research report. If you remember, Hindenburg Research in January 2023 alleged stock manipulation and misuse of tax havens by the Adani Group. And at the time as well, significant losses were witnessed for the group. Its market value was affected at a very large percentage. So some reactions have also come up from India's opposition party. Congress party has urged for a joint parliamentary committee investigation for these allegations. Now, what happens now after the allegations have been made? We now know that we have not yet received an official response from the Adani Group. But if convicted, the Adani Group and of course Adani himself could face several penalties, and this includes substantial fines and even restrictions on operating within the US financial markets. Now, the SEC, which has basically filed civil charges against Adani, is seeking permanent injunctions against him, which of course means that he won't be able to operate within the US market, and they're also seeking several civil penalties as a part of its enforcement actions, which is, if he is convicted, then these are the actions that SEC would like to take against the group and Adani himself. Now, the outcome of these charges could have far-reaching effects on both his personal fortunes and of course the operations of the Adani Group in international markets. You see that Adani Group essentially deals with a lot of critical sectors. This includes ports, coals and renewable energy. These are the sectors which he has been working with globally and could affect a lot of countries. Well, these are the allegations that he's been charged in so far, and all the reactions that you've got to you, and of course the details of the indictment filed against Adani in New York. Thank you so much, viewers, for watching this, and we'll continue to bring you more coverage on this Adani scandal, what are the allegations, and of course what could be the implications of this for Adani and India itself. Thank you so much for watching this. Stay tuned to India.